Welcome to another Arias wave update. In this video, I'm going to discuss current price action and how the larger picture is pointing to more bullish, higher prices. And as you can see, I've got three magenta lines. Now, the first magenta line was broken back here when we hit the highs. That to me was already confirmation this is moving higher, right? Because we made an E wave down here. Right, and as soon as you break above the E wave, that's confirmation. So to me, that was the first point of confirmation. Okay, then we had a 1A expanded B, C, D, E pattern. Right, now we've had the second, second confirmation. I also have the one down here. That's the third one I mentioned. So if you look down here, you can see that I had the previous count, the count that I posted earlier. There's an E wave in there as well, okay? And you can see it right here. And then I put a magenta line. So whenever we break wave E's, we're moving higher. So the point is to understand where the wave E's are and what does each individual wave mean. So we've basically finished wave 2. This confirms that we've finished wave 2 of the C wave that's coming, right? So anything from here on out, according to this view, is wave 3 price action. Okay, right? So if you don't understand what that means, okay, let me just go back to the wave A. Okay, the wave A happened in 2017, right? Yeah. So this is the A wave here in brackets. Okay, so this A wave started here, down at 0.006 on this particular chart, right? And if you look closely in here, I'll show you where wave 3 is, right? So if you look down here, around here somewhere is where wave 3 started, okay? So you had wave 1, 2, and then you had wave 3. So this is basically the meat of wave 3 around there, right? So once you basically measure this and start measuring from the end of B wave, this is the kind of move I'm expecting, and we've seen that wave 1 and 2 happen, right? So wave 1 and 2 down here, and then this move is coming next, right? This is exactly why I learned the waves. This is why I created Arias wave, is because I wanted to know when these moves were going to happen, and that is the entire purpose of it, is to just understand the waves and anticipate certain price action. Okay, now this is a very nice example of this. Obviously, if we see higher prices and this works out the way that I'm saying, then it'll prove what I'm talking about, right? Instead of just being theoretical at this stage. But all the signs are there. So when you see, okay, so this is a pretty small E wave, okay? It is, right? But the C wave back here was also very small, okay? So it's not hard to believe that that could be E wave, right? So I look for clues. Well, this is the whole reason why knowing the waves is cool, because you look for clues. If this was small wave C, then obviously we have a lot of upward momentum, and you need to look for a wave E that's going to be short and small. And most people think that impulsive moves start off looking impulsive and sharp and beautiful, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 followed by A, B, C. It's simply not true. And this is another reason why Arias wave is my thing, is because I remember when I used to look at Elliott waves and all that jazz, it basically didn't help, right? Because these weird patterns turn into some crazy moves. When you understand what they mean and what they're doing, that's when everything sort of becomes clearer, and you kind of like have a gauge and you have an understanding on what's going on, right? So this breaking this high now is significant, right? Because it confirms that we have finished the correction. We've seen the last move in wave 2 down here, and now we've come back to break that high, which is saying, yep, that's confirmed that was a wave 2 and it's now complete. Okay. This count here is the new trend of the wave 3 that's coming. You can see how it's already got a bit of strength in it because you had A to the downside, you had your B expand to the upside, your C was a bit strange looking, but nonetheless, D and E happened, right? Now, because E never made a new low, I couldn't count this as a complete 5-wave structure. Therefore, process of elimination tells me that it's a CDE pattern as well. And there's strength in the market. Therefore, we created our V shape, right? And then it's basically a cup and handle as well, if you want to look at it that way, right? But it's just an example, right? It's all primarily the waves, but you can kind of see where people get the pattern recognition from generally, right? For example, here you can say, oh, this is an inverted head and shoulders. And would you be wrong? Not really. You wouldn't be wrong, but you'd be guessing. And then, where would you put your stop in that case? Because if you're into patterns, you have to put it down here, apparently, at the top of or the bottom of this head part. And it's kind of like, well, that's crazy. That's a crazy long stop if you're margin trading or whatever, for example, right? And to me, obviously, the whole point was in the beginning, I wanted to margin trade and get levered up and crazy stuff, right? But obviously, with cryptos, you don't really need to go too crazy with leverage because buying the coin is not really going to break the bank, is it? But anyway, yeah. So the first piece of confirmation was the break of that high. I suppose when we're looking at this pattern here moving higher, this was the next piece of confirmation that we saw that wave count could be correct. And now this is the third piece of evidence breaking here. So we've had three times where it's proven to me that this count is likely correct. Okay. So it's all evidence-based. Process of elimination using Arias wave to me is just the only thing I can possibly use to predict market movements, which has nothing to do with market cap. All right. People who use the market cap argument, to me, I don't know what they're getting at. To me, it's almost like they're just making things more harder for themselves and more complex to understand. There's no need for that, in my opinion. Something can go insane market cap suddenly, and does that really change the course of history? No, not really. I mean, you could argue that a lot of things are overvalued. Did market cap stop them from getting overvalued? I don't think so. I think it just stopped a lot of people making money if they didn't really just follow the trend or whatever. But yeah, anyway, I'm getting off the topic a bit too much there. So I think this is basically it for now. I don't think there's, obviously we just need to see price, from here on out. Let's just see it go up. You know what I mean? There's nothing else to add. We've already seen all the possible pieces of evidence that you kind of need to see. So then it just becomes all about being patient. That's probably one of the hardest things, traders and, investors can do is the hardest thing is to just be patient. So, do something else on the side, learn something. But the point is that, if you're well positioned, there's nothing to worry about. So hopefully you found this video interesting and informative. Thank you for watching.